What up? It's the real Keith. Any other a fabrication of your imagination. And Universal Debates presents Real Random Versus Discussions. Here we discuss versus battles that you wouldn't normally think of instead of the same old recycled fights that you see every day. And today we got an inverse Majo Taisen battle with Catherine the Great versus Rui Sasaki. The Witch of Greatness versus the Katana Witch. Basically two swordsmen going at it. Or should I say swordswomen. I will be analyzing their stats to see who wins. These are actually two of my favorite characters, with Cleopatra being my number one. But that's neither here or there. Let's start with the fight. For a verse that mainly takes place in an arena and it's more of hex and magic based, it's very little feats of actual destructive capabilities. But for Catherine, she has literally the best feat when it comes to DC. If you keep up with the story and have seen my How Strong is the Majo Taisen verse, you will know exactly the feat that I'm talking about. She was able to harm Marie Antoinette many of times, and Marie's ability allows her to summon things from out of her shadow. She summoned the guillotine and entrapped Catherine inside of it, and Catherine was able to break it by kicking it with her feet, and this shows her flexibility. And then later on, Marie used the giant hammer. The energy needed to destroy this hammer would be 50 billion joules, or 11 tons, which is large building level to city block. This feat would be even higher if it was made of graphite, which would equal 260 billion newtons, or 6.2 kilotons, which is small town level. But I feel like the 11 tons sound more reasonable. Right after that, Marie summoned a giant castle, which Catherine violently fragmented with a punch. The energy needed to do that is 69.1 gigajoules, or 16.5 tons, which equals city block level. And for Sasaki, she really doesn't have too much destructive capabilities, but she was able to harm Lakshmi Bai many of times. And Lakshmi Bai and Sasaki are both one of the only few witches that had actual battle experience before this tournament. So I would say they scale maybe a little under Catherine's feat, but I also want to say that calc for Catherine is specifically for her striking strength. But I would still say it scales to the potency of her magic, but she was in a specific form to be able to bust the castle, and this form made her physically stronger. So AP and DC goes to Catherine. For speed, Catherine was able to blitz Marie many of times, and Marie has subsonic to possibly supersonic reaction speed due to her being able to deflect Catherine's bullets. There's also other people with supersonic to supersonic plus speeds, and they specifically commented on how fast John and Catherine is, making her one of the fastest in the verse. So she would be supersonic to possibly hypersonic. But Sasaki is also one of the fastest in the verse, being able to cut a bullet. Lakshmi Bai was very impressed at her speed. Not that she was impressed on her being able to react to the bullet, but her being able to actually cut it. And Lakshmi Bai also says that her bullet moves at the speed of sound. So by the time Sasaki hears it, it would have been too late. This would make Sasaki supersonic to supersonic plus, possibly hypersonic. Sasaki herself states that her sword is as fast as thunder, but thunder in Japanese also can translate to lightning, or they're interchangeable. So Sasaki's speed would be massively hypersonic. So I would have to give the speed to Sasaki. Now this section is pretty cut and dry, pretty fast. Catherine was able to tank being hit by a giant castle coming from the ground, and then fell from the sky and still survived falling into the castle. She was also able to fight evenly against a clone that Marie made of her. And Catherine was handicapped because she was missing an eye. Well, not necessarily missing an eye, but her eye was kind of injured, so she couldn't see out of one side. For Sasaki, it's pretty hard to call because Lakshmi Bai magic was based on luck, and she didn't really do any big damage. She did get hit by a bullet, and that's really about it. So for durability and endurance, it would have to go to Catherine. Catherine is an expert tactician and a strategist. It was stated that she is able to adapt to her opponent, and this is shown through her magic vestment, which is called Foreseen Destiny of Royalty, and this gives her a sword and a gun, and the gun kind of looks like a sniper / shotgun of some sort. She was able to deduce how Marie's magic actually worked, and she was also able to perfectly counter her at every corner. Sasaki is a master swordswoman, and undefeated in combat. During a time where there weren't many female samurai, she is able to intimidate others through her sword stance and general presence, able to strike the taste of certain death into people by projecting her striking range, which looks like a domain expansion. But if you haven't seen Jujutsu Kaisen, you wouldn't know the reference. Her magic vestment is called Quadruple Knot, and this gives her a samurai armor, a katana, and a wakizashi blade. For skills and intelligence, I would say they are about equal, but when it comes to equipment, Catherine definitely takes it. She has more range and versatility. Catherine creates diamonds when going into her magic vestment. Catherine's magic is called Great Magic. She is able to change her vestment into 3 different ones, possibly more. Each one boosts her stats in a certain field. The first is Sword Mode, which, as you can guess, she has a sword, and it also boosts her agility. The second is called Sniper Mode, which gives her enhanced vision and a gun. The third is called Cavalry Mode, which boosts her physical strength. She can switch in between these modes at will, and she uses it to catch her opponents off guard by swapping modes in the middle of the fight. Each mode is able to counter the other mode. When she fought against her clone, they switch modes to try to counter the others, so she's able to fight from close quarters, close range, and a distance. Sasaki's magic vestment creates butterflies. Sasaki's magic is called Katana Magic, Eyes of the 5 Skandhas. It allows her to see the will of every living thing around her. She can use this to read the actions that are about to be taken or what her opponent plans to do. She was able to see Lakshmi by targeting her from behind her back and being able to counter it. She can gather far more information than what a normal eye can see, like what her opponent is aiming to do, where they are aiming for, and when they plan to make their next move. She also can use this to sense the opponent's intent, their state of mind, and the emotions they are feeling, seemingly able to read what they are exactly thinking in that moment. Will is in every person's tangible actions. She can always know what her opponent is planning to do. The more complex the action is in their plan of attack, the more visible someone's will is to her. She was able to evolve this ability mid-fight. This was called Katana Magic Eyes of the 5 True Skandhas. She is now able to see the will of everything around her, living or not, or natural concepts such as karma. Also able to sense when those wills are being directed towards her. She can see the shape of will through solid objects, as any obstruction to her line of vision has no effect on her. She was able to see that a bullet behind her was going to ricochet. She was also able to see that Lakshmi's magic was going to create a chasm for her to fall in. I'm not gonna lie, this is a very easy one to call. Catherine's magic is literally nothing but a wardrobe change. Wow. Sasaki literally knows what your next move is gonna be, and no doubt about it, she's gonna know what your next move is. Everything has a will, and there's really no way to outsmart her, so Sasaki takes it and hacks and abilities. Now on to the comparison. Catherine's bounty would be 8,956,000 with a grade of B+ and a threat level of Proceed with Caution. Sasaki's bounty is 7,512,000 with a grade of A- and a threat level of Proceed with Caution. Now for the moment y'all been waiting for. First, if you made it this far, like, share, and subscribe for more Real Random Versus discussions. And follow Universal Debates on Facebook. All links in the description. Now on to the actual fight. Catherine has higher AP, durability, and better equipment than Sasaki, but Sasaki has better hacks and better speed with the better skills. And honestly, if Catherine was to go against anybody else, it would be a very good fight, but going against Sasaki is just unfair. If Catherine goes into sword mode, she would lose because Sasaki is the better swordsman. If she tries to use her gun, Sasaki just always react and counter it, and can close the distance pretty fast. Catherine would have to rely on her cavalry mode, which is close quarter combat, but the thing is, Sasaki will always be able to react. Maybe she might try to block one time and Catherine can hurt her and do a lot of decent damage, but that's a big if and maybe, and more than likely not gonna happen, so I have to give it to Sasaki here. But comment and leave your opinion on the matter. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my next versus battle.